Hey guys, it's Victoria and welcome back to FemmeHead. Today I wanted to start like a 2-video series, nothing special, but I wanted to make 2 videos talking about, firstly, so you want to quit hormonal birth control, like what are some of the things that you need to consider, and then the second one is like, so you've quit hormonal birth control, what do you need to do now, or what are some things you need to think of now? And so today is going to be the first part of like you're considering it but you want to but you don't quite know what you need to think about. It's just a very daunting task, but that's okay. I just wanted to share some of that advice with you today. Getting off of hormonal birth control is a big leap, and I think there needs to be more conversation and more support for those out there that want to. I went through this whole transition pretty blindly 5 years ago. I just kind of went with my instinct, and because I didn't know much, I had to wait. I didn't have to, but I waited till the end of a relationship to finally quit the pill because I did not know about FAM or the effectiveness or whether that was the road I wanted to go down, and it was just very confusing time. And so I, thankfully went through with it, but I wish I would have had some sort of knowledge or information beforehand. So I'm just going to take you through a series of questions and kind of talk through those questions of things I want you to ask yourself and consider in this stage of the process. So I want to start with before you got on hormonal birth control. And for some of us, it was a couple months or a couple years, and for others, it's been like a decade or so. And so just try to remember as best as possible, because I think not always, but for the most part, a lot of what you were experiencing before is what you're going to experience after, because hormonal birth control does not solve any problems, does not fix anything that you were experiencing before. It just masks it and kind of puts a band-aid over the problem, even if it wasn't like a serious problem. So the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, what was your cycle like before? Was it regular like clockwork, or was it irregular? Did you have a really short cycle or a long cycle? Did it kind of fluctuate in between? Did you kind of never know when to expect your period? And this one is a tricky one because I feel like so many of us back before we got on hormonal birth control, we didn't know anything about our cycles. I certainly didn't know like when to expect mine. Not even like just tracked it. I never like wrote down when my period would start, and so I couldn't look back and know when it started. It was just kind of a guessing game. The next thing is obviously, what was your period like before? Was it very, easy and light, or was it very heavy and painful? Looking back, what do you remember about your actual period? And finally, what was your PMS like? Were you very moody? Did you get really sore boobs, bad acne? There's so many things that go under this sort of thing. And I think acne is one thing that people are really, really scared of. Like acne and irregular cycles and like heavy bleeding, heavy painful periods. Those are the things that people are scared of. While you truly don't know what your cycle is going to be like after you get off of hormonal birth control until you actually quit whatever form you're on, it's good to kind of look at what it was before and kind of like prepare yourself. And I think just being able to prepare yourself for what could potentially happen, even if it doesn't, is just very helpful with like the mental game of it all. For me, my cycle returned to normal straight away, which was very, very nice. I was on hormonal birth control, the pill, for 4 years. Expected, because I didn't know any better, I expected to come back right away, but there's a lot of people that they don't get their first period for 8 months, and they don't have irregular cycles like until like a year afterwards. And there's no real right or wrong way. I think it's just good to know what your norm was. My skin broke out like crazy. I had really bad acne for about the first year. I was 8 months, and then it kind of started to tape off, and it was probably better at about a year. I just expected to have acne, like it was something I'd always kind of dealt with. I was okay with it, like I knew it was gonna happen, and I was okay that it was going to happen, and I was kind of prepared for it. Like, it didn't make having zits and pimples and everything easy to deal with. It still sucked, and it still takes a hit on your self-confidence. But I just told myself, like, okay, this is worth it. This is just part of the process. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to nourish my body and do what I can to, take care of myself from the inside, and then it will shine through on my skin. An obvious next question you need to ask yourself is, what are you going to do about birth control now? Are you going to rely on condoms? Are you going to learn the sympto-thermal method or some other type of FAM? Are you going to get a non-hormonal IUD inserted? It's good to have a game plan, and it's good to know that you have options, and you have options that are non-hormonal. For me, like, I thought that like hormonal birth control was the only way. If I was going to get off it, then I was going to have to just use condoms. But I just want women to know that there are options outside of hormonal birth control. And if you're at this point, you probably know that already. And if you watch my channel, you probably already know that already. even if you don't need birth control at the moment. For me, like, I got off the pill at the end of a relationship and I wasn't having sex with anyone else, so I didn't need birth control in that moment, but I knew that, like, down the road I would hopefully have another relationship with someone else, and you know, I wanted to be prepared for that. And so even though I wasn't currently in a relationship, I wanted to prepare myself for like what I was going to do when I needed birth control again. So in this sense, like, is there a class or a course you want to take? Do you need to visit a doctor? And just kind of consider like what you need to do to get your new form of birth control in order, regardless of what it may be. An important thing that I think you need to like sit down and talk through with yourself is why it is that you want to quit hormonal birth control. Like, what is about it? Not that I've ever like considered going back on hormonal birth control. It's nice to like be able to look back and see like how much of a bad place I was actually in without even realizing it at the time. But like looking back from my perspective now, I'm like, wow, that sucked. So some of the reasons that people quit hormonal birth control, they just want to get more in tune with their body. They want to learn about their body. They want to experience what their natural cycle and period is like. They're having bad side effects to the hormonal birth control method they're on. There's a lot of different reasons why people quit hormone birth control, but I think it's good to just take some time and sit with that for yourself. And finally, what can you do going forward to help your body rebalance itself? And while there's so much that just your body needs to suss out itself, and it's a smart thing you got going on here, and it will figure it out, but there are ways in which you can help it. Taking care of yourself in the sense of like, are you eating and nourishing and fueling your body with the right things, or are you eating processed junk food? That's not going to help, and it's probably going to create more problems. Are you properly hydrated, or are you filling yourself up with soda and energy drinks and bad stuff like that? What's happening with your lifestyle? Are you really stressed out? Do you meditate? Do you exercise? I really do truly think that those things impact not only our whole well-being, but also our menstrual cycles. And finally, it is so important to be patient and kind with your body. Do not expect things to be rainbows and butterflies right away. Do not expect things to return to perfect right away, especially if things weren't perfect to begin with. And you just have to be patient and loving with your body and realize that it knows what to do and it's gonna get there, and you just have to do what you can do physically and mentally and emotionally to help get it there. But also just give it time to figure itself out and to rebalance itself, and it will get there. Now, obviously, if you're dealing with something like endometriosis or PCOS or some other hormonal, there's some man outside my window, or some other sort of hormonal imbalance that isn't something that can just like naturally work itself out, that is something else that needs to be addressed on top of what we've talked about today. Okay, guys, so I just want to have this quick conversation. Oh, I live on the 4th floor, yet there's a man outside my window on a boom lift working on the brick, so this is fun. I just wanted to have this quick conversation and to start something today, because if you're in this position of kind of like teetering on the decision of like wanting to quit hormonal birth control, but like you're not quite sure, don't feel like you have to jump off the cliff right away. There are ways in which you can prepare yourself, like physically and mentally. You can educate yourself, you can figure out what you're gonna do afterwards. And I think having a plan makes the whole situation like much easier. Take a breath, you have time, there is no rush. Don't feel like you have to get off of it right now. Just plan it out and figure out what your next moves are gonna be. And it's gonna make it so much easier when you're like, right, okay, now I need to do this, now I need to do this. And if you don't have those answers right now, that's okay. Just keep educating yourself, keep searching for those answers, and they are out there. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you can keep up with moi. I make videos about a lot of fun things, not just cycle related. You can go check out my channel to see what it's all about. And give this video a like if you enjoyed today's content, and if you want to see that next video about what to do once you do get off of hormone birth control. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!